Hey, this is John here. This is beginning of episode 3, day 17, so a little update here. Bad news, unfortunately. We have another issue here. So our lily seeds that we planted right here, we planted 4 in there, and there's only 2 now. So I don't know what happened. And you can see there's evidence right here where something's been bitten off. So only a couple days ago those were planted in there. So here's an update on our lily seeds. It's day 17. So it looks like we got a couple more of them right here that are kind of sprouting here. Okay, so we just removed the 3 biggest ones from here over to here now. So we have 2 of the originals and then 3 of the replacements. And now we just need to plant these guys at a deeper level. I just took the reading over here, so that step right here is 12 inches, but it's also, the water level is about 4 inches above that. So where it's at now, we're about 16 inches down from the water surface to the step. Now what we have to do is just figure out a way how to lower it. So I got one of these things, probably about the one time that I've ever used it. It's going to be right about now. Let's go ahead and put this down, see if this works. Let's position it where we want it. I'm just going to put it kind of in the middle there. Ah, there we go. Hey, I found a use for this thing. Okay, it's day 19 here. It just came out to see what was happening out here, and so we have pretty obvious evidence here that there's been more disruption here. So that was formerly here. So we definitely have some animals here. Must have been the same thing that ate the lily seeds. Must have came back and thought it would get a few more, and then maybe poke down in there thinking the rock was a lily or something. I don't know. Must have tore that up pretty good though. Now we're going to go ahead and plant some canna. So I did some research and found out this is supposed to be one of the better bog plants for purifying water. Although it's interesting, although I just bought this at Home Depot, so commonly available as a bulb. This right here. What's interesting is that the water gardening books say that you could use it in your bog, but here they say it's more for soil. So I guess we'll have to do a little experiment here. So this water level will drop fairly soon here. We pretty much just let this drop down in here. Yeah, there we go. Nice controlled drop. So for now I'm going to put these right here, I think. And some moisture, see what happens. Next up we have some silver lace. This is something that I saw at my favorite nursery that's located pretty close by. They had a little water pond, and they had this growing in it as a bog plant on the outer edge of it. So it's going to be so I did a little research on this one, and it seems like it's kind of interesting. It's actually an edible leaf. It has kind of a garlic flavor to it, so you can eat the leaves and the flower. And it also has some other benefits too. It's also insect repellent, so it's keeps the mosquitoes and other insects away. So that's interesting. So anyway, just bought this one on the spot. So we'll go ahead and just put this in. Probably have to transplant it into a bigger container, but for now, I think it's going to like to be right about here. Day 21 of Friday. So to address the animal attack issues, I bought a couple of these things right here. Solar powered ultrasonic animal repeller. Has speakers right here. and basically turn it on like so, and then that light will go off, and then once it detects motion, the light will come on, the sound will come on. Actually, I think it's on right now. So it's supposed to be ultrasonic, so humans cannot hear it. So that's the thing. How do you know it's working or not? I mean, we know the light's on. There seems to be a standby light right here. Anyway, I got 2 of these guys on eBay. Ordered them on a Wednesday morning, got them on a Thursday afternoon, so I'm very happy about that. It got here super fast. Can't even believe how quick it got here. So anyway, we bought these on eBay about I think it was $28 for 2, so only $14 a piece. So really inexpensive. I've seen these on Amazon, or at least something that's very similar, actually very similar shape. They have multiple, there's maybe 10 different designs, but one that looks identical, has the same shape, the same very similar design, and for like $35 each. So to get 2 of them for $28, I think is quite a steal. So, but of course they have to actually work, and so we won't know yet until we try these out. So what I'm going to do here, where he's got one placed over here, this is a different model that I bought to protect my avocados, but I temporarily relocated it here after our last issue. So this is you can see that this one's a little bit different design. It flashes a strobe light, but it also has a speaker. It's very similar design, but just a little bit different. So as far as our lilies are concerned, this is day 21. We've got some more here that look like they're about ready to graduate from the initial planting area here. Looks like we've got... Okay, so these are ready to go now. Covered with gravel. We've got some there, so let's go ahead and put it over here somewhere. There we go. I don't know if it's my imagination or just because it's a sunny day, but the water seems to be clearer. I'm not sure if that's actual, or is it just because it's a sunny day. It's day 23. This just arrived yesterday on day 22. So this is another shipment of plants. This is a little bit different here. As you can tell, the size of the box is rather large. That's because we have some bamboo that's in there, and we also have 10 aquatic plants. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open this up. So not the prettiest looking thing here. We have some bamboo. These are supposed to be 3 small clumps, bare root. It's a little bit of a different way of shipping bamboo. Doesn't appear to be a whole lot of water in the bag here either. And this is not looking too good here. This is looking pretty close to dead. Hopefully there's enough rhizome here, enough of a root system to grow. I don't see that much root in here. I'm going to get these in water really quickly. This is an interesting bamboo. It's a North American bamboo, actually, the only North American bamboo. Similar to the China variants and Asian variants, but it's a little bit different. It's unique to the Americas, for one thing, but it's I'll go over that a little bit later, assuming that lives. Otherwise, we have some other water. This is aquatic plant. This is supposed to be 10 plants for $25. So it seemed like a great deal, but then again, this is what we're getting. So we have 3 lily pads here. It looks like it's a little bit more established than the stuff that I've got going by seed. But so it has a little bit more of a root system, but I'm not exactly sure how much energy is trapped in this. Is this a big root, or is this just the stalk, or what are we looking at here? So I'm not sure. But all of this stuff was shipped from Tennessee, so it's a place located there. So they say they ship dormant plants with no leaves. So they're supposed to look kind of dead when they get here, except that's because they're dormant. So it's really going to be important what we do in the next, well, basically right now, moving forward, get these in some water is going to be critical. And then hopefully with the heat and the sun and the water, all of those combined should bring out some life out of these plants, hopefully. But right now, this is clearly the worst order that I've received as far as at least first impression just by looking at it. Another thing about this particular nursery is that it says that there would be 10 plants for $25. It says water willow, bulrush, lily pads, and cattail. All 4 of those were of interest to me. Now, this one's clearly labeled lily pads, so that's good. This one says sensitive, so I don't know if that's a variant of something. I'll have to look that up, or if it is, or maybe it's just sensitive. I don't, I don't know. I don't know what that means, because it's not the 4 that were listed. And then we have this over here, which is some sort of Belsky, I don't know. Belsky, I don't know if that's a variant of something or what, but we're going to have to try to look those names up and see if it makes any sense at all. But I was really looking forward to getting some cattail and some bulrush, and actually the water willow too. All 3 of those I was looking forward to, in addition to the lily pad. So that's why I ordered this. Normally I would select exactly what I want and order it, but this one was a little bit different. So it was a great price. I'm not sure if this stuff is going to live or not. Okay, so here's the lily pads. Looks like we have 4 of them. There's 3 significant size ones, and then there's a little one right here. Still probably better than starting from seed, but I guess we'll find out. So this is the bag labeled sensitive, which hopefully we can find out what that means, if it does actually mean something. This looks like it's more of a bog plant due to the root structure. So something that's going to require a little bit of dirt and water. That's what we have, it looks like. So, but nevertheless, for now, it should be able to handle water, and we can make adjustments on that once we find out what this is even. This is what the other stuff looks like. This has a much more shallower root system. So this must be almost like a ground cover type of plant or something. So here's what our bamboo is looking like now that it's been transplanted into some pots and saturated with a bunch of water. As I before mentioned, my experience with bamboo of the past has been usually when it's at this state, it's pretty much dead. But this variety is a different variety, so I may be wrong about that, and there may be enough root there to actually come back. I'm hoping, well, we'll know in the next couple of days if anything happens. If it doesn't get any better, then we know it's in bad shape. But there's very little rhizome here. There were basically 2 canes basically making up one plant. I believe they said 2 to 3 per bundle or per pot. So I was assuming there would actually be a physical little bundle of soil along with the roots, but instead we get this bare root stuff. So I mean, I've never seen bamboo transplanted bare root, so I don't know what is going to come out of this. Okay, it's day 24. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert some blocking here. These are just your typical common CMU blocks. Get these at Home Depot for about $2 a piece. 2 of them are vertical, and then 2 of them are horizontal. Okay, next thing I've done is I bought 5 more additional plants here. These are all bog plants, so they're going to be very suitable for our bog area. So they can be in soil or they can be completely submerged underwater. It doesn't matter, they like it both ways. It's a lot of times the soil is nutrients. However, if you don't have the soil, you still have fish that are fertilizing with their waste. So you get the fertilizer one way or the other. So it's either with the soil or you get it with the fish waste. So it just depends on what we want to do here, how many fish we have and all that kind of thing. So the thing we're trying to do is to equal this out and have everything a balanced ecosystem. Here's what the pond's looking like. I think it's coming along really nicely here. So every time that I've tested the water, it's proven to be clear and suitable for fish. It's certainly suitable for mosquito larvae. We have an S-load of them in there right now, as you can see. They are all over the place. Now we've had some of our submerged plants are not looking so hot, and I think it's because they're not getting the nutrients they need. And so one of the best nutrients is actually fish fertilizer. And since our ultimate goal here is to go ahead and put fish in anyway, we were just waiting for the right time. I think now that I've got cave areas with the CMU block, and then a little bit more cover, just from the extra vegetation, if it's not much, it's something. So I think we have a suitable habitat for fish now. Okay, so here's our fish. We got 2 goldfish, one silver color, and one gold color, or orange, I guess. Orange and more of a dark gray. They are anxious to get out of the bag. They've been in here for about an hour, which is about as long as we want them to be in here. They're getting very, very anxious. I'm sure they're hungry. We've got lots of food for them. I can't wait. This is the first fish I've owned since I was a child. I think I won a couple at the carnival. And now it's the first time I've bought fish ever since, many, many years later. So it's exciting. Super stoked about it. So let's go ahead and put these guys in. So it's day 29. I'm doing a general update here. So the fish, when I inserted them a few days ago, they were very feisty in the bag. And as soon as I put them in, they dropped. They just froze up and sank to the bottom. And along with that, my heart sank at the same time because I thought they immediately died, because that's how they reacted. But it turns out that doing some research, reading some other people's information, a lot of times when fish are transferred, they suffer a lot of shock, a lot of anxiety from being in a tank and then putting to a bag and then dropping to the bottom of the new tank. And so I thought, okay, I'll let it sit. They'll be okay. Didn't see anything for 3 or 4 days. And then I noticed something. Yesterday evening, I noticed there was a little bit of like choppy activity, like some stuff, activity at the top here. A couple little events. And then I didn't even really think about it, but I looked around here and I noticed that all of our mosquito larvae is pretty much gone. Now there's still a little bit of it. There's a little thing right there. But the vast majority of it's gone. And I thought that was interesting. And then I started looking out here a little bit closer. And I saw something orange right here just a few minutes, well, half hour ago. And it was just stationary. And I thought, oh, so it's still sitting down there not doing anything. Then I noticed all of a sudden it moved. And then I moved, and then it dashed off like super warp speed and everything. And then a few minutes later, it came back with the silver one, and they were both dancing around down here. And then they dashed off, and so like they're looking very super active, just as feisty as they were when they were in the bag. The first batch of lilies have worked themselves free from the gravel, but they are alive and well, as you can see. We have a little lily pad forming here. It's the very first one. We also have another one over here that's worked free a little bit. And we got another one over here. Another one over here that's kind of floating as well. So I think I'll just let those float. We have plenty of others that are buried in gravel much deeper. So now it's day 29. We picked up some more plants. We've got 4 more additions here. We've got some beautiful canna. We have an umbrella plant, I believe it is. And then 2 more of these guys right here. And we're going to be adding some more CMU block. This time we got the 6-inch variety. So it's 5.5 inches from here. So when we're laying them horizontal, that gives us a different depth. But when they're vertical like this, it's the same size as the other one. So here's what we have on the 29th day at the end of the day. So I think it's coming along pretty nicely. We're looking for some food here. Oftentimes they're pretty elusive, but this is they seem to be a little hungry right now or something. Now we're finally going to address the high pH problem that we're having. And so we're going to use some of this stuff here. Not the best, got some chemicals in it I don't particularly like, but I don't have any other choice. I tried the lemons and I tried the vinegar. Neither were very successful. Hardly made any difference at all. So now we're going to have to use this crap again, but at least hopefully once we get it in balance, then it'll be easier to maintain at that point. So hopefully lemons and vinegar will be what I'll use in the future. But for now, this is the same stuff I was using back when it was a swimming pool. This should definitely make a difference here. So anyway, we're going to put in 1 gallon right now today. We're starting at 9.6 pH, so we want to lower it down about 7.5. It's been another 24 hours since we put in a 2nd gallon of muriatic acid. We're showing about a reading of about 7.6. So I think that's at the outer edge of the acceptable range here. 2 gallons is what it took to get it from 9.6 to 7.6. It's day 33. A little update here. The pond is coming along nicely. We've got some new additional equipment here. So the fish were gasping for air. I believe when they come to the surface gasping, that usually means there's not enough oxygen in the tank here. So what I did is I bought a portable solar powered pump with battery, and so what that's going to do is it gives us some bubbles. There's the fish right there swimming around. It's pretty active and happy. Another thing I want to mention here is that since this is 100% rainwater, we're not having the issues with the pH as much. Now when I added the concrete block in here, oh, there's the fish again. That raised the pH. And I noticed the chlorine level went up too. So what I've done to compensate for that is add some vinegar, little bits of it each day, and then I keep checking it. So I've been keeping it about 7.5 or so, 7.6. It goes up to 7.9, then I add a cup of vinegar and that drops it down to 7.6, and then I've been doing that every day. Also vitamin C to reduce the chloride or chlorine that's emitted from the freshly made concrete block. I think that's part of the manufacturing process. So like it bleeds like chlorine, gases come out of it just for a while. I don't expect it to continue forever. But one way to compensate for it is you use some vitamin C tablets. So I was putting 5 tablets a day in initially. Because the chlorine will not only damage the fish, they'll damage the plants. So they'll kill everything basically if it's for a long period of time. So I started putting vitamin C. I noticed that the level did drop. And then over time, like a few days, with the sunlight would help dissipate it too. Okay, so it's day 43, doing the last update on the lily seeds here. So it looks like we're at the end here. The last 5 have started to germinate here. Not looking all that healthy though. I'm not too optimistic about these. I think we'll see if it works or not. This is the last one we got here. They're not looking very healthy though. These over here, there were a couple that germinated, but then they died afterwards. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the same fate for these over here. But so of 30 though, I think we did pretty good. We got 18 that were good, 5 that are maybe, and 7 that are either not happening or happened but died afterwards. Okay, next step is we're going to go ahead and install our little water pump right here. So this is a submersible pump that we're going to be pumping water from the pond up to the bog area. And so it looks like we can adjust our intake here as necessary. But that this is very cost effective. This is only like $17 on Amazon. This hose is like $12. So like this is very cost effective way to do it here. And I looked at, I thought, well, this is probably too much pump than what I'm going to need, even though it's only 30 watts. I mean, that's pretty small wattage, especially compared to the original pump, which is like 1.4 kilowatts. So it's quite a bit different. This is just more of a slow kind of process, which is what we want for this type of setup. So we got our fitting right here, so it's all good to go. That's about a foot deep right there. Bench. I got a 6-foot piece of tubing. Let's go ahead and plug this in. There we go. We got water. That's only 30 gallons, or only a 30 watt pump. Now it's time to do our weekly testing of the water. And so I want to mention something here. So I bought this thing, the electronic one, and it seemed to be working well, but I noticed that it kept going on the high side, and then when I did that right after this, it was a totally different number for the pH in particular. And then I also have this old thing that from the pool, about a year old, and when I do a test of this one, it shows 8.2 or worse. So that's what we have right here. I just did that a little while back. This thing said it's 10.2, and now we're going to go ahead and do this, and I suspect it's probably going to be close to normal. That's how much discrepancy we're having here, so it's kind of annoying. Alright. Huh, interesting. So, yeah, it looks like it's about 8. So I think that this one's pretty close to accurate. The electronic one is completely off. Should be interesting. Now we know that this had excellent readings before. Nitrate, nitrites in particular were 0. We had mysteriously a little bit of chlorine in here, but I've kind of mitigated that with a little bit of vitamin C. Kind of brought that down a little bit. It's still going to be somewhere in here though. 1 or 2. pH was great. So yeah, let's see what's going on. And we have this weird foaming happening here. Or like, yeah, the stuff is bubbling. Look at it, it's literally bubbling right here. You can see that or not. It's literally bubbling from the bottom. I don't know what is going on with that. Very weird. Stuff's floating to the top. So all the sediment wasn't even here. I don't know why it's floating. It was all on the bottom. And now it's like rising to the top here. It's right in front of our eyes right now. You can watch it as it happens. Most bizarre thing. Now we stirred up the water by putting some water in, but it was already doing that before, earlier in the day. But anyway, let's get on with our testing here. So 1. Alright, a couple seconds. So yeah, how's that pH looking? Huh, interesting. Yeah, the electric gauge was saying it was 8.2, and it's not 8.2, it's closer to, looks like it's about ideal, about 7.4 maybe. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did. Stay tuned, many more episodes coming.